Hello Scorpio, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I have pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I will be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So please do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Scorpio, let's jump on in. On your side of this connection, you have the Nine of Swords with closure. I feel like at just a very basic level of this message, it feels like this connection has you really in your head. A lot of overthinking, a lot of, just kind of stressing, anxiety, insecurity. And I feel like you're looking for some closure. You're looking for some closure to the experience of what has taken place in this connection. And it's making it really hard maybe for you to move on or to choose yourself or to be comfortable with having chosen yourself and being willing to say, yeah, that was the best decision for me, or being able to say that. And I feel like there's a little bit more to it than, it's not as black and white as it seems. Because this person, some people never change with the Three of Wands in reverse. So I feel as if there was some repeated behavior that led to you experiencing something negative in this connection. I don't know what it is, but it's like this person kept doing something over and over again, or wouldn't do something that you needed them to do. And I feel as if you spent a lot of time kind of waiting on them to choose you, or waiting on them to treat you well, or waiting on them to show up for the connection. And it just feels like they never did, which is where this some people never change energy comes from. Now, looking at it from their perspective with the Three of Wands in reverse, I feel as if they were actually trying to play it safe. It feels like they didn't really want to step out of their comfort zone here and really open themselves up to this connection for some reason. Now, I don't feel like that has anything to do with you. I feel like that probably has more to do with themselves and things that they're dealing with, which, other people's actions and decisions usually majority of the time have more to do with them than has anything to do with us. Now, in between this connection, you have unresolved issues with the Nine of Pentacles. So I feel like there are unresolved issues in this connection, or at least in the experience of this connection, that is keeping you from what it is that you truly want here. And I feel like, it's hard when we're not getting what we need from someone else, whether it's like an apology or a validation of our pain, in order for us to get that closure, to be able to kind of shut the door on an experience that wasn't so great. Because I do feel like this connection, it's either a past connection or it's a connection that you are no longer connected to. I definitely feel like, because of the closure and the unresolved issues. So I feel like this is a connection that has already taken place. The overall theme of this reading is growth. So I feel as if this connection has pushed you to grow, maybe in ways that you never have before. And I would actually say that we tend to grow from the connections that are the toughest. So, it's both a blessing and a curse. It's like, yeah, I've grown a lot, but man, it kind of sucked. And I feel like that's kind of where you're at now, but you're still really in your head about everything. So, Scorpio side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Just because the reading is dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. That's the person we're trying to channel. And it doesn't necessarily need to be someone who's currently in your life. We often can learn from experiences that have already happened. All right, right, Scorpio side of this connection. Queen of Pentacles, Chariot in reverse, Five of Pentacles. Could be dealing with an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, but you don't have to be. Because I also read this as this connection. I feel like you were very steady in this connection, loyal, stable. And I feel like you were very much like a rock for this person, always there for them, trying to support them. And I feel like in the end, it feels like things never progressed to where you were wanting them to go. It feels like I don't know, because the Chariot in reverse to me can sometimes represent like a stop, like just hitting a brick wall. Things just are no longer progressing, moving forwards. And I feel like you're feeling a deep sense of loss here, because I feel like you showed up, in the best way you knew how. I'm not saying you didn't make mistakes, but in the best way you knew how. And it feels like it still wasn't enough. Because again, this Queen of Pentacles, it feels like you were really there to be like a steady, stable person for them. Scorpio side of this connection. Like solid, just they could rely on you. I don't know. All right, Scorpio side of the connection. Oof. 10 of Wands in reverse. You were expected to pick up a lot of the slack in this. I feel as if the burden of this connection really fell on you. There's this energy of maybe trying to help this person, trying to even save them. And I feel like that kind of came back to bite you a little bit. The Tower in reverse is always this indication that something was inevitable. If we are living our life for other people, or trying to, fix, save, or heal other people, that's going to come back to bite us. Because when we're trying to save somebody else who's drowning, but we need saving ourselves, we're going to end up drowning right there with them. And I feel like that's kind of a little bit of what happened. It's like you came in as this stable force. You were there. You're like, I'm a great swimmer. Like, I got this. And this person's like, I don't know. Like, I'm really drowning. And you're like, that's okay. I got you. Like, I can help you. But then, you realize, oh, maybe they're drowning a little bit more than you thought, and you got eventually tired of swimming because everybody has a limit, and you kind of started drowning with them. And I feel like it's really difficult, because I do feel like you gave this the best you had. Scorpio side of the connection. Four of Cups. Seven of Wands in reverse. There's a need to look at things a little bit differently. I feel like you're really focused on why you weren't good enough. And that feels like that's really like why you weren't good enough for them, or what you did wrong, or how, maybe honing in on the mistakes that you did make. Like, there seems to be this focus of how was I not enough? But I don't think it has anything to do with you not being enough. Now, the Seven of Wands in reverse, this is an indication of not setting boundaries. Not making sure that you are being taken care of in the process of trying to take care of somebody else. And so I feel like, a lot of times I think that healing is about gaining different perspectives. And sometimes when things are painful, especially relationships, it can feel like we're never going to heal. It can feel like things are never going to get better, and we're always going to be stuck in the experience of that pain. But that's never true. It's typically, where we have to experience it, we have to feel it to heal it. But as we move through it, we learn things that we wouldn't have learned if we hadn't have experienced it, which allows us to apply that knowledge to our life moving forward, so we can create better experiences for ourselves. And I feel like that's why the universe is saying, shift your perspective. This isn't about how you weren't enough. This isn't about how you weren't good enough. This is about you learning how, first of all, you can't drown somebody else, or you can't save someone else who's drowning. It's almost like, if they're not saving themselves, you can't save someone else. You're not here to save or fix anybody. You can support people in their own healing journey, but if other people aren't making the effort to change and to grow and to heal, you can't come in and change them or heal them or push them to grow, no matter how hard you try. And sometimes when we try really hard to do that and it doesn't work, we start to take it personally. We start to look at it as this reflection of they won't heal or grow for me, when in reality it's they won't heal or grow for them. And that has nothing to do with you. But let's see what this person's dealing with. This person's energy towards Scorpio. The Four of Cups. See, their focus, oh my gosh, that's kind of crazy, right? We just pulled the Four of Cups with the Seven of Wands in reverse for you. And that's the same exact message that they got. Hang on. Right? We just saw, yeah. That's kind of crazy. Four of Cups, Seven of Wands in reverse, exactly like we just saw for you. So, what the hell does that mean? Let me get more on this. I mean, it's obvious that there's some sort of a mirror here. If the energy is mirroring that much. So you have they have this Five of Wands. Here's where I think, it's important to look at things differently, because it seems like with this Five of Wands, this person kind of has this war. This sounds cliche, kind of cheesy, but like this war going on with them, like at war with themselves. And this is kind of another metaphor, but I feel like they're fighting this war with themselves. And that can appear in so many different ways. An addiction and mental health issues, and when people are struggling and where we love them and we care about them and we're empathetic to that, our instinct is going to be, how can I help them? How can I fix them? And, I think that sometimes we try to get in the middle of other people's wars with themselves, and in the process of that, we end up a casualty. And I feel like that's what happened in this connection. You ended up as a casualty in this person's war with themselves. Now, I don't think that this person is a bad person. I feel like, hurt people really do hurt people. And when people are struggling with their internal world, they're not going to be able to show up in a way that you are deserving of. And sometimes we take that on as like, oh, that's okay. Like, I'll wait till they're healed. I'll wait till they get through this, or whatever the case is. But if that person isn't actually making any changes and just kind of sitting in that war with themselves, at some point we are trying to fight it for them. And that is where we end up getting hurt. This person's energy towards Scorpio. Because you were solid in this. I feel like you were there for them. You were there to support them. And at the end of the day, I feel like they ended up hurting you. I'm going to reshuffle. Sometimes that means I need to rephrase the question. So I'm going to rephrase this as, what does Scorpio need to know about this person's energy toward them? What does Scorpio need to know about this person's energy toward them? Magician. Whoa, okay. Magician, High Priestess, World. Star. This person was the manifestation of what needs to heal within you. Because here's the thing, and I think that this is where, we often look for closure in other people. We look for closure in, other people's apologies or other people's explanations for how they hurt us. But that's actually not where closure lies. It's kind of the saying's been around for a while, but like, the best revenge is a life well lived. Sometimes what we don't realize is that true closure comes when we are able to be at a place in our lives where we say that person's decisions no longer affects my ability to be happy. What they do or don't do doesn't dictate my ability to be happy. And I feel like that's the point that you're needing to get to, because this connection has a very karmic aspect to it. There's something very like, what's the word? I'm trying to think of. It's like not just deep. It's I guess reflective. There's so many different words I feel like could fill that hole. But what I'm trying to say is there's so much more to this than just what this person did. And the reasons as to why this person did the things that they did actually doesn't have a whole lot to do with you. And it doesn't, meaning like, it's not that you weren't good enough. It's not that they were trying to take advantage of you. I feel like this person is in a place, or at least at the time of this connection, was in a place where they were not capable of loving you in the way that you deserve. Now, that doesn't make it okay, all right? That doesn't mean, I'm not saying, oh, give this person a break, they tried. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is sometimes we confuse unconditional love and unconditional empathy with unconditional tolerance. And we start to believe that just because somebody is struggling and just because we have empathy for their struggles, that means that we have to put up with how they treat us, with the behavior that they have in a connection. And that isn't true. But sometimes we do that when we love the other person or whoever it is that we're dealing with more than we love ourselves. And when we start to recognize that somebody else is deserving of love and somebody else, needs your support, but at the end of the day, I feel like you are really needing your love and support here, Scorpio. All right, this person's energy toward you. This person's energy toward Scorpio. Hierophant in reverse. Okay. I think that this person, this is one of those didn't really realize what they had kind of energy. Because I do feel like the support, so Hierophant in reverse, Wheel of Fortune, 5 of Swords. I do feel like there is this energy of kind of taking advantage of what it is that you provided here. But I feel like it's less from this place of trying to be harmful, and more of this place of not recognizing or not knowing how to recognize when they're being loved. I feel like, I don't know, I have a lot of empathy for this person, or at least in this reading, there's a lot of empathy towards this energy, because I do feel like, they're doing the best they can with the tools and the knowledge that they have. But that doesn't mean that the way that they treated you is okay. But what it does mean is that the reason that you're looking for them to apologize or them to, whatever the case might be, oftentimes we think, oh, I deserve an apology. No, you deserve to heal. And the more that you think you need an apology to heal, the more that you are basically saying you need this person's permission in order for you to be happy. And you don't need that. You don't need this person to validate your pain. You don't need this person to validate the experience of them hurting you. What you need is to heal. What you deserve is to experience the love that you truly deserve and desire. And the cool thing is that you have the ability to give that to yourself. But we have to learn to understand other people's decisions and actions don't have anything to do with us. And I think that the more that we learn to look at this person has some healing to do. They've got a lot of growth that they're needing to go through before they're going to be able to show up in a way that you're deserving of. And you don't need their explanation as to why they hurt you in order for you to heal. Now, at the same time, this person might not have one. They might not have the self-awareness and the capacity to be able to say, oh, I hurt Scorpio, or I did these things to hurt Scorpio. They might not know, or they might not have that awareness. Like the Hierophant in reverse can kind of represent a lack of awareness. And I feel like that's, and that I feel like is a big part of things, like a lack of self-awareness, not understanding how their actions affect other people. And typically when you're dealing with people who struggle with that, it's people whose sole focus is survival. How can I survive? How can I make sure that I don't get hurt, that I'm safe, that I'm protected, that I'm loved? And when people are so focused on, protecting themselves because they've been hurt before, it's often going to come off as selfish, because they're not going to be able to show up for others, because they're not, they haven't done the healing and the growth to be able to do so. So what I'm getting at with all of this is that, this connection and how things went down isn't a reflection of what you can have and love. This isn't the universe saying you can't be loved in the way that you deserve, desire. Like, this is as good as it was ever going to get for you, and now it can't happen. Sorry about it. That's not what the universe is saying. The universe is saying there is something that needs to be addressed so that you don't repeat this cycle next time. And Scorpio, I feel like the biggest theme for you, especially in this reading, is trying to save other people. Attracting people who are hurt, lost souls, people who are struggling with their own journey and trying to fix or heal them. Now, we do that whenever we are trying to fix and heal ourselves through them. And when we are able to look at things from that perspective, we start to say, okay, so what is this trying to heal in me? What can I address so that this doesn't have such a freaking hold over me anymore? Scorpio's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. This connection drained you, Scorpio. I feel like this is very much that like giver taker kind of energy where like you were the giver and they were the taker. There wasn't a whole lot of reciprocation in here, and I feel like that can make us feel taken for granted. But when you're dealing with someone who is a taker in relationships, you're dealing with someone who is lacking so much love for themselves that they're constantly seeking it through other people. And, that is, again, something you can have empathy for, but also learn not to tolerate. And, I think that one of the things we often forget is that other people are a reflection of our relationship with ourselves. And when other people are treating us poorly, somewhere in there, we're treating ourselves poorly. And we have to learn to address the mirror and the reflection so that we can regain control of the situation, so we can heal and we can be happy. Scorpio's side of the connection. Because again, it's like you swooped in and were trying to heal, save, and fix this person. I feel like this connection brought up a lot of fear for you. Fear that you're never going to be loved in the way that you deserve. Fear that you're never going to have what it is that you deserve. And I also feel like it's almost like this connection made you feel as if like you deserved it. I don't know, like maybe there was some shame or some guilt that came up through the experience of this connection. Just know that you didn't. You don't deserve to be treated any less than what you don't deserve to be treated any less than with the utmost love and respect, okay? Now, if you think you deserved what you experienced in this connection, dive into that. Figure out where that's stemming from. Why do you believe you're not deserving of love? Why do you believe that you're not deserving of experiencing the love you truly deserve and desire? And why do you tend to search for it in people that, don't have the capacity to give it to you? Because they don't, we only love other people to the extent we love ourselves. If someone else doesn't love themselves, they can't love others fully. And I think the more that we learn to see things from that perspective, the more we take our power back from people who don't love us well. And we start to look at it from this perspective of like, okay, that has nothing to do with me. There's something I need to learn from this. There's a reason I attracted this, but I didn't, that has nothing to do with me. So I get the fear. It's almost like, sometimes when we experience, like say failed relationships or a failed relationship that had a lot of promise, when we experience that, it's going to bring up this idea that we're never going to have it, that we're never going to get to where we want to be in life and in love. And it's natural and normal to experience that. But that fear isn't a truth. Your fear that you're never going to be loved well or find anything that is good as this could have been, that is literally not a truth. It is just a fear. And that fear should not be the driving force of your decisions, because your decisions should be based in this place, from this place of saying, I am deserving of love. I know the universe is supporting me to my highest good at all times. And if other people are a reflection of my relationship with myself, and I'm not liking my relationships with other people at this time, then I got to work on my relationship with myself. And when you redirect yourself to what's within your control, you start to change your relationships outside of yourself. Scorpio's side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. I want it to flip all the way around or hit the table like that. It did both. Okay. I feel like this was a very intense connection for you, because if the Ace of Wands with the Queen of Swords in reverse, and I feel like there's this very powerful draw that you had to this person that almost, with the Queen of Swords in reverse, has you closed off, or had you closed off to any other outcome. It's almost like you were like, it's this or nothing. Like, either this person has to learn to love me the right way, or I'm never going to be loved in the way that I deserve and desire. It's either this person or nothing. And that created this idea that if this person never changed, that you were never going to be happy. And so much of that was stemming from maybe this place of, eventually if they see how valuable I am, eventually if they see, how deserving I am of love, I can show them how valuable I am by how much I save them, how much I fix them. That's going to make them see that I'm deserving of love. But the thing is, you are absolutely deserving of love regardless of the value you provide other people. And in addition to that, you don't need anybody else to see that in order for that to be true. And if someone is not seeing that and is not treating you in alignment with what it is that you deserve, that should never be taken as a opportunity to try to prove your worth. Other people not seeing your value has nothing to do with you. And the more that we look for other people to see our value, the more that we're losing sight of our own value, because it's not up to them. And I think that a lot of what's kind of coming through in this reading for you here, Scorpio, is that you put, I feel like, a lot of your ability to be happy in the basket, and your eggs in the basket of this person healing and changing and doing better and, growing. And the thing is, it's not about their growth. This is about your growth. This is about your happiness. This is about you getting what you deserve. Whether or not it has anything to do with this person, that's where true closure lies. When you're really able to say, my life is good and I am happy regardless of what this person who didn't treat me well did, or this person who didn't love me the right way did or does. And I feel like the universe is saying, this isn't, this isn't about them, this is about you. Like, this isn't about what they do or why they did it. They have their, they've got their stuff that they need to heal. There are reasons, right? We brought through a lot of that. They need to heal. They're at war with themselves. They got a lot going on. That has nothing to do with you. The only thing that you can focus on is what this is trying to direct you toward for your healing and your growth, so that you can be led closer to the love you're truly deserving of. All right, this person's energy towards Scorpio. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. The Devil. Oof, I don't know what this person is dealing with. The Devil, it can be addiction, mental health issues. I kind of already alluded to those. It can be just attachments to things that aren't good for them. Toxic habits. I feel like this person struggled with maybe a few of those. Addictions, toxic habits, maybe a few of those. And I feel like this Devil energy always got in the way of the connection. And it made you wonder, why won't they choose me instead of these things that aren't good for them? That must mean that I'm not good enough. That is not, first of all, that is not a fair perspective for you. And second of all, they obviously, it's like they're at war with the devil within them, okay? They're at war with the devil within them. That is their battle. That is their journey. That is their fight. it is not yours, but you took it on as yours until it got you to this point of having nothing left to give because you gave it all to this battle. It's like, say that you kind of have your own war that you're fighting, but you sent all your troops to fight this person's war, so no one's fighting this war for you, and, you know, it was way worse in the end. I don't like that example very much. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, you know, you gave all you had to give to trying to help save and fix this person, and you ended up abandoning yourself in the process. And the universe is saying, let's look at why that happened. Let's look at why you believe that either self-abandonment or, you know, saving, fixing, healing other people is the only way for you to be loved, because it's not, but you obviously believe it for a reason. You know, our life is a reflection of what we believe, and when we believe, what we believe is a reflection of what we've come to, what we've internalized because of what we've experienced. So if you've experienced that you're only valuable if you're being valuable for other people or saving, fixing, healing other people, then you're going to believe that that is the only path for you to be loved. Now, this is, you know, we often attract people who kind of remind us of what needs to be healed within us. So again, focus on the mirror. Focus on what's really asking to be addressed here. This person's energy towards Scorpio. Person is the Four of Wands in reverse. They're in a pretty unstable place, and I feel like I probably could have gathered that through the rest of this reading, but for some reason the universe needed to come out and say it. Like, at the time of this connection, I don't feel like they were in a very good place, and I feel like, you know, I think back to the times that I wasn't in a very good place in my life, and I think back to the people that I hurt when I was in those not very good places. And I've had to heal a lot of shame and a lot of guilt for that, because I wasn't coming from this place of trying to hurt others. I was coming from this place of looking for other people to save me, looking for other people to make me feel okay and make me feel safe, instead of doing the work to save and fix myself. And, you know, I think about that. I feel like that's why I have a lot of empathy for this person, because the reason I like doing these readings is I've been on both sides. I've been on the chaser side, I've been on the runner side. I've been on the person who chased love and people who didn't know how to give it to me, and I've been on the side of connections where I pushed it away and people who did. And both reasons was because I believed that I didn't believe I was lovable or good enough for it. Now, I did it at different phases of my life. You know, I started kind of here. As I healed a little bit more, I became a little bit more of the chaser, and then eventually I kind of was able to find that middle ground. So I'm now able to attract healthy reciprocal connections. But I have a lot of empathy for this person, because I don't think they're a bad person. I think they're struggling, and when people are struggling, they look to anything, and they don't know how to do the inner work. They're going to look to anything outside of themselves that's going to save them, and they're going to take everything they can take from people who are trying to save them, to keep them above water, right? To keep them from drowning. And I feel like that was you for them. You were solid. You were there for them. And that's not fair to you, okay? But that is the dynamic and the way that things went down. And, one of my favorite quotes is, a person who blames others has not begun their lesson. A person who blames themselves has begun their lesson. And a person who blames no one has finished their lesson. The first instinct when we're in any kind of situation is to look outside of ourselves and say, this is their fault, it's this fault, this is why it happened, it's outside of me. The second way, and when we really start to heal and grow, is when we look within ourselves and we start to say, what about this? What was my role? What role did I play in my own suffering? And then eventually we get to number 3, which is where we realize this had to happen. It's not their fault, it's not my fault. This happened to teach me something, this happened to teach them something, and now here we are. I'm better because of it. I've grown, I've healed, and now I get to move forward with my life in a way that I wouldn't be able to if I hadn't have experienced that connection. The reason that that's my favorite quote is because I had to learn not just the way that, I had hurt other people in the past because of my inability to accept love, but also the way that I hurt myself by looking for love in the wrong people. And so, when we're willing to kind of understand that some people just literally are not capable of being what we deserve and desire, and that doesn't make them a bad person, and it doesn't mean that we're not lovable, the more that we can learn to kind of accept situations as they are. You know, another one of my favorite quotes is, peace is the result of retraining your brain to process life as it is rather than as you think it should be. If we're willing to accept every situation for what it is and say, this had to happen for a reason and I'm going to find that reason as I continue on my healing and growth journey, then you're going to be led to wherever it is you need to go. I know I talked a lot on that message, but I just feel like it was needed. Okay. One more, this person's energy towards Scorpio. I feel like this is what's hard, is it's like, I feel like they desired, so Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Wands in reverse, I feel like they desired the love that you showed up with in this connection, but I feel like they sabotaged it. And I think that that's where, you know, when I started out the reading saying this, right, with the Three of Wands in reverse, they played it safe. So many people, humans in general, prefer a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. This person is more comfortable not experiencing the love that you have to give than they are with experiencing the love that you have to give. And that isn't your fault. And again, not your battle. And I feel like this person, you know, is kind of stuck in this energy of self-sabotaging, and you can't do anything to fix that. And that's hard. You know, it's hard when we really love and care about somebody else because we want to do what we can do to help them. But if you are trying to help other people to the extent of hurting yourself in the process, you have to look at why you believe that other people are more deserving of love than you are. Because that isn't true, but somewhere along the way you've picked up that personal truth for yourself. Okay, in between this connection, you have unresolved issues with the Nine of Pentacles. I'm going to pull 9 different messages looking at the deeper truth of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. And then I have an advice card I'm going to pull to close out the reading at the very end. Thank you so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.